Do you know which chainsaw is the true HM2? Grab a pen and paper. I'm going to play 4 riffs. I'm going to play each riff 3 times utilizing a different chainsaw. The original chainsaw, the Eyemaster, and the Line 6 Swedish chainsaw. All right, so on each clip, I'm gonna make them look different. One's gonna look normal, it's gonna be color. The next one's gonna be reversed image, and then the other one's gonna be black and white. And that's gonna be the same on each of these riffs so that you can differentiate which one's which. And try to guess, can you really determine which one is the real HM2? There's a little bit of a difference. I know you can hear that little difference, and that's primarily because we're running analog. As you saw in the video clip, I'm running through my Laney Pro Tube 30-watt combo. I'm not on the AOR channel, but I am on the Dirty channel, and I'm micing a Celestion Vintage 30. I'm using a Shure 57 microphone, which has absolutely been dropped probably 1,000 times over the last 25 years or so since I've owned it. I've owned that mic since the 90s, so I'm surprised it worked at all. Were you able to tell which one was the real HM2? At this point, it's worth discussing that what you hear in your room is not what I'm hearing in my room because of one simple thing, color. So don't trust YouTubers. Don't trust these videos you're watching on YouTube all the time. Everyone has their smartphone out and they're all like a bunch of fucking zombies. Every part of the signal chain, starting with that microphone in front of that cabinet, all the way to when you're holding it in your hand, being a zombie and doing this dumb shit all day long, watching videos that aren't going to help you at all. It's been colored. So don't expect what you're hearing right now to sound like what it would sound like if you go and buy this pedal and hook it up to the amp and go do all the things that I just did. Fuck. Signal chain color is supreme. And when you're watching YouTube videos, you're being massively deceived by filtration, period. And then another thing you need to consider, just if you're watching videos and you're doing it because you want to buy a product, keep in mind that a lot of the YouTubers are absolutely in every way deceptive. Did you notice in any of my corners, there's no paid promotion? Most of these people are being paid to just lie to you and pretend like they really dig stuff so you'll spend your money. It's just that simple. You're being fooled. You're being played. A lot of these influencers, they're either they're getting paid, or they're so obsessed with likes and subscriptions. Oh, please like me, please subscribe. First thing you do, hit like, hit subscribe, hit like, subscribe, fucking shut up, you motherfuckers. I hate your videos. I'm not gonna like, I'm not gonna subscribe, especially if you ask me to fucking like and subscribe, you stupid motherfuckers. What the fuck is I talking about? Okay, now in this next riff, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play an Entombed riff, but I'm gonna play it super fucking slow, 50% slower than Entombed play it. Just because I want you to hear that drone. You know how the fucking chainsaw drones. I'm going to be playing Strandberg, the Metal 8. It's got Fishman Fluence pickups in it. Again, can you hear the difference? Do you know which one's the HM2? The next 2 clips, I'm not going to be playing that Strandberg. I'm going to be playing a Viper Edwards Viper. Hold on, let me get it. I'm going to be playing this guitar right here. It's supposedly made in Japan, but who really knows? Because nowhere does it really say that. The electronics said made in Japan inside it. It's an Edwards Viper. I got it at a fairly decent price, but I'll be honest, it probably should have been a little bit cheaper. And then the first thing I did is I removed the pickups and I put bare knuckle pickups, warpigs, P90s, right? And when I ordered them from Bare Knuckles, I said, I want all new wiring. So I redid everything, you know, took it all out, soldered it all up. And I asked them for what pots I should get with these. What did they think was best? Because I've never really used P90s before. It's like they exist somewhere between a single coil and a humbucker. And you know, typically on a single coil you use 250K pots. On humbuckers you usually use 550K, not 500, fuck, I'm talking shit now, 500K pots. And then you got some weirdos using 100 megs, which probably sound badass on something like a DiMarzio X2N. But anyway, they told me to use 550K. I don't know if they told me that because that's all they had in stock and that's what they wanted to sell me, but that's what I got. And I put them in. And I do want to say one thing about this. This guitar is not clean in any way. Like if I run into a clean channel and the volume's all the way up, it still distorts and it doesn't seem right. If I turn back a tiny bit on the volume knob here, it cleans up then so I could play clean. Not that I give a shit about cleans, I don't. But it's overly fucking hot. Like it's hotter than you would ever imagine. Anyway, I'm using it on the next two tracks. I'm either in C or C sharp. I don't know. And I just realized I should say blah, blah, blah. I just realized I should say something about the fact that I mentioned they were too hot. That's not something I ever say about pickups. I love hot pickups. Right now you're talking, you're not talking, I'm talking. There's this guy, he's talking into this thing, whatever. Like, I've been using the DiMarzio X2N for 2 decades straight because of Evil Chuck, and that's an extremely hot pickup. I love it. I don't currently have one right now, even though I played with one for 20 years straight. Right now I have an EMG-81 in one guitar. I've got those bare knuckles. I've got Fluence in one. I don't really like Fluence that much. I know everyone thinks they're the greatest thing in the world, but I still prefer older hot pickups. I do like the Seymour Duncan Black Winter sound good. The Seymour Duncan Quarter Pounder is an incredible sounding single coil pickup. But typical go-tos, I would say you want to play metal, grab a DiMarzio X2N or grab a DiMarzio Deactivator, or the Black Winters are good. The EMG-81, I don't know why people hate on the EMG-81. That is the sound of fucking thrash metal, period. It just is. It's on so many fucking recordings, and all these douchebags on the internet, I don't really like the sound of active pickup. Blah. You're a lying motherfucker. You just are. Go look in your record collection. I guarantee half the shit was recorded using an EMG-81. Why? Because that bitch goes boom. It's got this compression in it. I don't know. I like it. I used to hate it. I used to talk trash about it. I'd always play my DiMarzio X2N and be like, yeah, fucking EMG-81. And then I switched amps, and then I was like, oh, fuck. And then I plugged that up and I was like, oh, damn. So anyway, I like hot pickups. That was the point in this stupid rant. I really like hot pickups, even though I think that is overwound. Either the pickups are overwound or those pots are just the wrong pots for those pickups. Regardless, they sound super gnarly for death metal, and you'll see in these next 2 clips, I'm using this guitar, and you can hear the tone is different than it was using those Fishmans. So in the last clip and in the one I'm about to play, I used this for my drums. And it was just a real simple thing of, cool, I can plug into this, I can just play a riff, I can let the riff loop, and then I can hit each one of my pedals. Made it fairly easy to do things, except this thing really sucks to use. It's not any fun. And if you go online, you'll see lots of user reviews about it. And one thing that no one talks about, and I don't understand why they don't mention this, is it doesn't have an on-off switch. Like, who the fuck designed something without an on and off switch? Plugging a cord in a wall back and forth is not... It's not a proper method of turning something off and on, man. I mean, that's some stupid shit. And another thing I really hate about this is I have a separate pedal, and it's Boss. And when I hook up to it to do the tap tempo will start changing, and then it just goes right back to where it was. And it won't stay. And if you go in here and you change the global settings and you try to save things, it never seems to remember a damn thing. Boss really screwed up when they made this. They desperately need to do a firmware update to fix. I don't know, it's an annoying ass pedal to use. It does something I love, but at the same time, I want to throw it right out the damn window because, look, I'm sitting here, it's on the floor, you know, and I'm using it, and I keep having to bend over to change the shit, and my back hurts. I'm old. Ain't nobody got time for that. I want to talk about the Eyemaster for a second, because this thing costs $45 at Sweetwater. And there are people that literally go to Sweetwater, buy them all up, and then just put them for sale over on Reverb for twice the price. Fuck you, fuck Reverb, fuck that shit. It's bullshit. I'm tired of I'm tired of the guitar community creating false scarcity when there is no scarcity. Do you see a shortage in guitars? We don't really have a shortage, but they're making you think there's a shortage. There's a shortage on everything, so we should pay more. No, we shouldn't, and don't. And if the price stays high, just don't buy it. Be smarter. You know, at the end of the day, you win. They don't, because this costs $45 new. Don't pay over $45 for it. Is it worth paying for? Yeah, if you need a chainsaw tone and that's all you want is just the chainsaw tone, this thing does it. It does it very well. It's got a nice metal case that I dig. It has top-mounted jacks, which I really like, something I hate about the Dirty Tree. Something I hate about the Boss pedals, too. I don't like it that it doesn't have side jacks. However, this pedal, it does have more usability. That's not even a word. It's more usable because you have knobs. Fuck, what am I talking about? It also has a custom mode. I want to talk about that for a second because I've seen people online deride the custom mode. And there's no reason to talk trash about this custom mode that they added to it. It actually sounds very good. It works great with my 8-string and my bass guitar because it opens it up and it gives it more. So why anyone would complain about that is beyond my understanding. Actually, I know why they would complain, because there are too many clones of this out there in the world. Why are you buying clones when the original exists now and people can't sell their originals now for the insane prices they used to charge? If you're unaware of this, people were charging $400, $500, $600, $700, $800 for the originals, and you don't need them anymore because this is by Boss. They own the blueprint. They know how to make a proper chainsaw. And this is a damn proper chainsaw right here. And the custom mode is cool. However, you know, it might be too expensive for you. And if you're poor, go with the Eyemaster, you know. I don't really, really wouldn't talk up any of the other clones out there because they all pretty much offer the same thing. They offer that chainsaw tone. Some of them are just one single knob, just giving you chainsaw the whole time. That'd be cool if it was cheaper, because if you're just going to spend more money, why not get the one that has more knobs? Because you can do more with more knobs. You have more control over your tone. That's just a fact. There's something else I wanted to say about these damn chainsaw pedals. Oh, you know, the only ones I'm seeing out there that are interesting, besides say you need an affordable one or you want to get the original, is there's one by a company, I can't remember the name of it, but it's called Worms, and it has a noise gate built in, and it has some extra knobs for altering the mids, I think. That's pretty smart, because another thing you're going to need, if you're going to end up with one of these, you need a noise gate. If you're using it in an analog environment. Like right now, I'm using it with the Laney, and yeah, you're going to have a noise gate for this shit, because this is super fucking noisy stuff right here. The main thing I'd like to say about analog versus digital, because I think they're both very good, I do. If I'm recording, I prefer using the line 6, not in my Laney, not running through the analog world, but all within the digital world. When you're inside the digital world, in the Helix world with the chainsaw, you can hook up all these different EQs, these different amps, and you can blend things all over the place and get a really cool HM2 sound, unlike what you've ever been able to get before. And you can make it more usable, because, you know, sometimes tremolo picking doesn't sound right on the HM2. You can modify that a little bit so it sounds a little better. So I really like using it in the digital domain. With that said, I also want to say I was going to make a video and I didn't do it because I'm lazy. But I have taken both of these pedals, and like everything you've heard today has been in the analog world, running through a Laney with an actual microphone in front. Whatever. Digital sounds good too. If you take these though and you hook them up into the loop of a Helix or HX Stomp in my case, and you just A-B them right next to the one that's inside, I'm sure you noticed there was some difference in this video. You would never notice difference in that video. It doesn't sound any different. As soon as these hit that digital, whatever that aether of the digital realm is, they sound identical. Like completely in every way. You cannot tell the difference. I laugh constantly when I see all these HX Stomp guys on the forums on Facebook and other places. They got their big pedal board. They got like 50 pedals running into their HX Stomp. Yet their HX Stomp's got like 200 pedals already in it. And they don't sound different. They do sound different if you use them in the analog world. But when you use them in the digital world, they don't sound different. Like both of these, I've ABC'd these motherfuckers. Because I've got all three of them lined up. And inside digital, like I'm using a digital amp, using digital cabs, using impulse responses, all that garbage. And they sound exactly the same as far as these. Another thing that does sound the same in that environment too is tube screamers. My 808, my TS9 that's in the Bonsai, they sound exactly like the ones inside my line 6 Helix. But they don't if I A-B them inside of my tube amp. Now we're in a different world and it doesn't sound the same. When I first started making this video, at first I was going to use an Engl Cabloader to run out the preamp of my Laney into my recorder, because it makes things easier to run direct. And I was doing it and I was tweaking it, and I wasn't really liking my results, and I was finally just like, fuck this. I wonder what it's like if I just hook my 57 up in front. And I did, and I was like, oh, that sounds pretty good, so I'll just do that. It turned out to be the easier method. Usually it's the other way around. It's usually easier to just do direct. Well, whatever. Another thing too, when I originally made this video, I thought about just not telling anyone for a week. Like maybe have a poll, let everyone guess. Was it the normal video? Was it the reversed video? Was it the black and white video? How many of you thought that the black and white video was the HM2? Anyone? Well, I'm not surprised if you didn't, because it wasn't. That was the Helix. That was the HX Stomp. Now, which one do you think out of the reversed and the regular color? Well, the reversed was actually the Eyemaster. And the regular video you saw, the first video in every one that was just a normal color video, that was the real HM2. And I'm not going to lie to you, I honestly, I liked this one the most. The Eyemaster sounds really close. It's slightly a little more, maybe a little more treble, maybe a little more presence in the Eyemaster than in this, but I was enjoying this more. It sounded more full to me. The Helix in the analog environment was way more trebly sounding. In fact, if you noticed, I wasn't on 10-10-10 on it. I was on 10-10 9.2 or 9.5 or something, because you want to have the treble up so it makes the chainsaw, but it works better in a digital environment than it does in the analog environment. However, on some of those clips, in clips riff 1 and riff 2, real hard to tell the difference, and I thought it sounded quite good. In fact, I think the digital one sounds better with Fishman Fluence than it does with the P90s. The P90s in it weren't as good. I think you noticed the tremolo picking was very nasal and very, oh, whatever. They all sounded good though. They all sounded like chainsaws. So there you go. Were you able to tell which one was the true chainsaw?